Francisco Alvarez has created a social media buzz by claiming the Mets have the best lineup in baseball. Today, we're going to talk about whether that has any validity or if he just put an unwanted target on the Mets' back. We're going to talk about that plus more today on Mostly Mets. Back to another episode of Mostly Mets. Obviously, what we're going to get into is what I talked about in the intro. The comments made by Francisco Alvarez that the Mets are the number one offense in baseball. Now, obviously, he was asked this as a question by a reporter in spring training, just as he gets there, just as he's starting, um, and what do you really expect him to say at that point, right? He's gonna believe in his team. He's gonna believe in his lineup. This is a team that just got Soto, just brought Pete back. The lineup looks good. What else is he supposed to say, right? It's kind of one of those things where it shouldn't even really matter that he said it. But of course, it gets posted by multiple places, MLB, and they start posting that he said that. And it's going to gain some traction in the comments. The Mets always gain traction because people like to hate on the Mets. The Mets aren't supposed to be good. The Mets aren't supposed to be well run. It's just not the way it's supposed to work. We're supposed to be the LOL Mets. We're supposed to be the team that makes everyone laugh and you can make jokes about. And it's turning a corner where it's not that we're not that anymore. The Mets aren't that anymore. No matter how much people want us to be. So it's going to take a long time to overcome that. Just deal with the hate. It's no big deal. Who cares? Like honestly, at the end of the day, it doesn't affect me or you or anyone else. It might make you angry for a second and make you want to get on there and comment on it, but who cares? It really doesn't matter. But what I really want to get into more is he right? Does he have a point? Is there any validity to the point that the Mets have the best lineup in baseball? Um, Obviously, everyone, if you're being honest, will at least say that the Mets are a top five offense in baseball. I don't think you can give me five offenses that are better. But I want to break down a few of the ones that are in that same conversation. Obviously, everyone knows the Dodgers are the team to beat. They have the best lineup. They have the best pitching. They have the best bullpen. They have the best everything. Um, and it's true. Their lineup is great from top to bottom. Everyone in that lineup is solid or great, solid to great. You know, you start off with Otani and Betts and Freeman and Teoscar, and it goes on and on and on. But you could see there might be some regression there. Um, there's a chance at least, right? Otani is a guy who's throughout his career had some injury issues. Now he was healthy last year and he was great. He was amazing, and he's the best player in baseball by far. But could there, you can't. We don't hope for injuries. We don't want injuries, but can you rely on him to be healthy for the rest of his career or for the whole season? I don't know. Um, Betts, he's still in his prime, but he's coming towards the end of his prime. Is there some regression that can happen? Maybe. I wouldn't count on it this year, but you never know. It could start. Freeman is a guy who's kind of starting to deal with more injuries, and you could see last year there was some regression. He's still a great player. He's still the best first baseman in baseball, or one of them at least. But is there some regression? Probably. He's getting up there. He's in his mid 30s now. He's not a young guy. So maybe. And once you get to the bottom of the lineup, this is the problem. The bottom of the lineup is what you hear people talk about with the Mets. Oh, the bottom of the lineup could be bad. Everyone's bottom of the lineup could be bad. You're not going to have nine great hitters. Now, the number nine hitter for the Dodgers is going to be better than Jose Siri. Siri's not a good hitter at all. But there's not much difference when you talk about 7, 8, and 9 in anyone's order because they're all you're not going to have nine all-stars. It's just not the way it works. So yes, I would put the Dodgers ahead of the Mets right now. That's one team that I would. The Braves are interesting. You have Acuna coming off of another major injury where he missed basically the whole year. He's not going to start the season most likely in the lineup, or not even most likely. It's pretty much a guarantee at this point. And is he going to come back and be the same guy that he was before the injury? I don't know. Is it possible? Yeah, obviously he's a great player. When healthy, he's one of the best players in baseball. But how many times can you come back from a major injury like that? You lose something. Hopefully he returns and is as good as he was before or better. The game's better with great players like that in it. Um, and the rest of the lineup's really good, right? You got Michael Harris. They added Profar to that lineup. Um, you know, Austin Riley, Sean Murphy, Matt Olson. Matt Olson regressed last year as well. So did Murphy. So then you get to the bottom of the lineup too with Kelnick and Arcia, and it's not that great. Like that's what I mean about the bottom of the order. Nobody's bottom of the order is great. So I think, are the Braves better with a healthy Acuna than the Mets? Probably, but I don't think it's you know that much better. I don't think it's a crazy difference. It's splitting hairs. It's really six and one, half dozen in the other. It's not that big of a difference that it's a crazy thing to say that the Mets are better. You also have the Phillies, right? Phillies are very strong up top. Schwarber, Turner, Harper, and then after that, what Castellanos, like he's not that great. You have Real Muto, who definitely regressed and took a step back. It, they don't have much, right? That lineup was scary, but those guys are also getting older. Turner isn't necessarily who they thought he was going to be when they signed him to that big contract. He just hasn't lived up to it at this point. Harper's a great player, obviously. Schwarber can hit home runs, and he's a scary hitter to face, but they don't have much else. Bohm doesn't scare you. And once again, bottom of the lineup, bad. Marsh, Stott. I would take McNeil over Bryson Stott. So I think the Mets are above the Phillies. And the fourth team of the five, including the Mets, would be the Yankees. Yankees have probably the best pure hitter in the sport, the best power hitter in Aaron Judge, without a doubt. But they don't have much else. They have a lot of question marks. I mean, you have Jazz, really good player. He's not a superstar. He's a good player. He's a good hitter. I think Bellinger is going to be great in that ballpark. I think Bellinger was one of the best pickups of anyone for the whole year, the whole offseason. Uh, Goldschmidt, what does he have left? I don't know. Stanton, can he stay healthy? We know he can hit home runs when he's healthy, but can he stay healthy? Guy can't run to first base. He can't score on a double. He can't score from second on a double. Like it doesn't. That lineup doesn't scare me at all because if you can get Judge out, you're fine. So they're not. I don't even think they're in the same question. And that's not a slight on the Yankees. I think the Yankees pivoted greatly off of not getting Soto. I think their offseason has been great. They bulked up their pitching and they did what they could in the lineup. And I think they're a pretty deep lineup, but they're not great players throughout. They're more like adequate guys who can fill a need temporarily. So, are the Mets the best? Do they have the best lineup in baseball? No, I would say they don't. But I don't think it's a crazy thing for Alvarez to say that. They're not better than the Dodgers. They're probably not better than the Braves, but they're close. So I really put them at the third best lineup in baseball, fringing on that second spot. But I don't know. It's something that I wish he didn't say because it just creates more drama, more buzz, more whatever. Like I wish they would just keep their heads down, work, and let everything else play out by itself. Don't add fuel to the fire. But hey, I'm not going to tell a guy what he can and cannot do. So say what you want to say, but just understand that now you're going to catch heat for it. There's going to be fans from other teams that like to talk to you. There's going to be other teams that see that quote and want to talk crap to you. Like, you have to understand that's what's going to happen. And that's fine. If you can handle it and you don't mind dealing with it, then it's fine. And then a lot of the comments, too, were just ugly about the Mets pitching. Well, yeah, maybe their lineup might be great, but look at that pitching. Yeah, our pitching has question marks. Absolutely. Nobody's going to deny that. But I like what we have on the pitching department. There's news that came out today that Clay Holmes is already stretched out to working 3 innings, which is ahead of what most starting pitchers are already at this time of spring. So he's obviously putting in the work and he's doing everything he can to be a starter. I'll take that. A guy who's willing to work. He's already been there almost a month. He's already been in spring training since like early January. So he's putting in the work. I think we're going to be fine on the pitching side of it. But anyway, that's really all I got. I want to know what you guys think. Do the Mets have a top three lineup in baseball? Are they the best lineup in baseball? Am I delusional and crazy for thinking that they have maybe the second or third best lineup in baseball? I want to know what you think. Um, Give me a like, subscribe if you like the content, and until next time, let's go Mets.